Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for being here Monday, April 21st. It is draft week. We dropped our final mock draft Monday of this draft season, right? The draft is kicking off Thursday night. We are going to be having a live show, Club Jaguar, UCF Jaguar, Jason from Jaguars United, myself over at Bottlenose Brewing. There will be specials. Jason's going to be giving away a beer to the first 20 people that show up. We're going to have an extra mic so fans can come chat with us, chop it up, have a good time. Going to be an awesome time for the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, where the Jaguars have the 5th pick right now. Again, we'll be over at Bottlenose Brewing. So we'd love to see y'all out there. Getting into the topic at hand here, it's kind of some buzz from Adam Schefter that he's been hearing heading into draft week from around the league, and specifically about the Jaguars is what we will take a look at. So really appreciate y'all tuning in, supporting the channel, means the world to me. And if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. So Adam Schefter, he has like an entire section about the Jaguars, but a couple other little tidbits he has to say. Among teams that are looking to trade down, moving back, he says the Steelers, Panthers, 49ers, Falcons, Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Vikings are all teams looking to trade down, and the Jacksonville Jaguars is also included in that list. So whatever his intel is telling him is that's the group of teams that potentially wants to trade down in this draft. We've talked about the Jaguars potentially trading down from 5 quite a bit. I think it just makes sense from the perspective of more throws at the dartboard, more draft ammunition, more flexibility, more ability to move up and down. If you add that extra pick, and you could potentially even be adding some future draft capital as well. So just setting yourself up very well. And the other idea that, maybe there's not a blue chip prospect available at 5. I personally don't think that's going to be the case. I think there are going to be blue chip guys there at 5, even if you have Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter gone. To me, Ashton Genty's a blue chipper. Mason Graham's a blue chip guy as well. And so that's kind of how I view it. But Jaguars, according to Adam Schefter, are among the teams looking to potentially trade down from the 5th overall pick. He also mentioned that draft weekend is a busy time for trades of players already on rosters. He said players on rookie contracts who could be deemed expendable: Will Levis, Traylon Burks, Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Jalen Hyatt, Sam Howell, Tyree Wilson, Greg Newsome, Odafe Owe, George Pickens, Rashad White, and Travis Etienne Jr. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on if the Jaguars potentially want to move Etienne, who is going to the final year of his rookie deal. They have Tank Bigsby. This is a very deep running back class, especially, if they go get Ashton Genty. But if they get a running back on the first couple days of the draft, if they plan to do that, or even getting a running back day 3, maybe they do want to recoup some value for Travis Etienne before letting him hit free agency following the 2025 season. I also think that Etienne could be a major winner from Liam Cohen being here. I think that Liam Cohen could get a lot out of Travis Etienne's skill set and potentially set him up to be a starter somewhere else in the future, or maybe even in Jacksonville. So just something to keep an eye on, something to think about. The main area where we have Adam Schefter talking about the Jaguars, though, he titles this section, "Will the Jags Go Against Conventional Wisdom?" And I'll just read y'all what he has to say. Many mock drafts have pegged the Jaguars to select Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham at number 5 overall. As the venerable Lee Corso says, however, not so fast, my friend. New GM James Gladstone, who has 10 picks to work with, including 4 in the top 90, might not be that predictable. As one league executive said recently, Jacksonville is a wild card. Watch. Jaguars coach Liam Cohen has long had a soft spot for wide receivers in the draft, writes Adam Schefter. In the top-ranked wideout in this class, Arizona's Tetero McMillan has drawn comparison to the Bucs' Mike Evans. Cohen, who coached Evans last year, knows how valuable a player like that can be to an offense. Some have questions about McMillan's passion for football, but others suggest that he is misunderstood and that when he's on a football field, he's an absolute baller. So there's a few things I find very interesting about this little section. It seems like what Adam Schefter heard, or what he was at least willing to share about what he heard, is just that the Jaguars are a wild card, not specifically that the Jaguars are interested in Tedero McMillan, or that he's hearing that they're interested in Tedero McMillan, just that they're a wild card. And so he takes, in my mind, what we're seeing here is Adam Schefter taking the idea that the Jaguars could be a wild card and saying, well, what would be a wild card pick for the Jaguars that's not Mason Graham that would make sense? And he's saying, maybe that could be Ted McMillan. I don't think that that's crazy. I really don't, because the Jaguars, quite frankly, do they need a wide receiver 1? No. Do they badly need a wide receiver 2 and some other future building blocks at the wide receiver position? Yes, they do. They have Brian Thomas Jr. as their wide receiver 1. Outside of that, there's no future building blocks. You have De'Ami Brown, 1-year deal. You have Gabe Davis, who's probably not going to be around too long as soon as that contract becomes movable. You have Parker Washington, who I think projects more as a role player throughout his career than a true starter, or certainly a number 2, right? I just don't kind of see that. Maybe a wide receiver 3 in his future, but I do think that the Jaguars have a major need for a Ted McMillan, and I do think he would be the type of guy that Trevor Lawrence could really use, that Liam Cohen could use as well in this offense, somebody who can be that move the chains guy, definitely a red zone threat, somebody who has some yak ability as well. I would like the fit. I would not be mad about it one bit. I think that this receiver class is deep enough that you could definitely find somebody later on to fit the bill and maybe have more value in the first round. But would it be completely shocking for the Jaguars to not take Mason Graham? No. Again, Schefter says the Jaguars are trying to move down potentially. He kind of infers that maybe wide receiver Ted McMillan could be a fit for the Jaguars. And there's been some other players picking up steam as well throughout this last couple weeks of the draft process, which to me really does become silly season. It becomes misinformation. It becomes, what do these teams want people to be talking about? There's a lot that could go down. Mason Graham has been the consensus for months and is still the player most linked to the Jaguars when you look around the web. And I still think that he makes a lot of sense. I think McMillan could make sense. Maybe a different receiver could make sense for them as well. I think that Ashton Genty, he's picked up steam as well. You saw Dane Brugler, who's one of the most plugged-in guys in the industry, project Ashton Genty to the Jaguars with the 5th pick last week. We're going to continue talking about the Jaguars potentially being a wild card, but first, do you ever watch sports and find yourself wishing there was a way to get into the game? Now there is with Underdog Fantasy. To play, choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats, i.e. points, strikeouts, touchdowns, and more. Y'all already know. Told you, I'm taking my guy, Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magic, to go higher on points tomorrow night against the Celtics. I'll probably take Franz to do it as well. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code DuvalDaily to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code DuvalDaily. Again, claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus, Alabama, Nebraska, 90 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus, Massachusetts and Arizona, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. So continuing to talk about the Jaguars being a wild card. What makes a team a wild card? Not being sure about what they're going to do. And I can honestly say with this group, James Gladstone is the GM, first-year GM. Liam Cohen, head coach, first-year head coach. Tony Baselli, even though he's not scouting necessarily, he has an influence at first-year EVP. We have not seen any of these guys in this position before. And just from that alone, that makes the Jaguars a wild card because we don't know how they're going to operate now that they are the people that are in charge. We don't know how James Gladstone is going to move exactly. We think we have an idea, and we do have context clues. I think the context clues point 100% to either interior defensive line or receiver. Now, we have seen the Rams operate at a very high level where James Gladstone comes from, taking receivers later on and having great success. And the Jaguars, again, even though they don't have a wide receiver 2. They do have that wide receiver 1. And you would typically think if you're going to take a receiver with the 5th overall pick, you're probably drafting someone because you need a wide receiver 1, not a wide receiver 2, right? So that kind of, again, points me back to interior defensive line. They do not have a franchise cornerstone there. Yes, you have Mason Smith, who took steps forward, but even if he reaches his ceiling, is he a franchise cornerstone or more of a 1B? I'm not sure the answer to that. I'm not sure what the Jaguars think the answer to that is, but so far we don't have any real proof or evidence that Mason Smith is about to become a franchise interior defensive lineman. They didn't sign anyone in free agency on the interior of the defensive line or at edge, right? They've talked about not wanting to sign guys because they could get in the way of a draft pick at those positions. Again, we've also seen James Gladstone and the Rams go with these interior penetrators types in the last couple years. Kobe Turner, and then last year they actually traded up for Braden Fisk. I think Mason Graham compares very, very favorably to both of those guys. But again, we don't know until we know. I do think the context clues are pointing us to interior defensive line, to Mason Graham. I think he's an intangibly rich guy. I think he plays that way on the field. And we say intangibly rich because that is the phrasing of James Gladstone, as most of y'all will know. But receiver is certainly a need. Ted McMillan could be the guy if they view him as wide receiver 1 in this class. I don't think that there's consensus on who wide receiver 1 is. I also kind of think with the way they operate, they might look at a Emeka Ibuka or a Luther Burden's skill set as someone that might complement Brian Thomas Jr. a little bit more. They might not. Again, this is an entirely new group of people. Have we seen what the Rams have done in the past, how James Gladstone has kind of operated in the last couple of years? Yes. But it's a new situation, a new group of prospects, right? We don't know how they evaluate these guys. And again, Genty, would it be a little surprising to see someone that comes from kind of this analytics background, process-oriented background, and James Gladstone wanting a running back with the 5th overall pick? Maybe, but could I see Liam Cohen and James Gladstone watching this tape together and being like, dude, this guy is going to revolutionize our offense in every single way. Running, pass protection, receiving. It's all there. He's going to be dynamic. I could see that. This is all to say, I don't think anyone knows what the Jaguars are doing outside of the folks in that building. And they might still be deciding. You've heard many stories about teams not being 100% sure what they're going to do until maybe draft day. And again, I still think they would like to trade down. We've talked about that a lot. So if I had to handicap this type of stuff, I would definitely put Mason Graham at the very top in terms of the most likely outcome. I think the outcome they would like the best is trade down. Then Mason Graham. Then, honestly, not a lot of buzz right now on interior offensive line, but Ezra Cleveland is going in the final year of his deal. The Jaguars signed a guard, they signed a center, they've got 2 tackles under contract for a while. Ezra Cleveland at that left guard spot could potentially be the spot where the Jaguars say, let's get our guy in there. And now, is drafting a guard with the 5th overall pick the best process? Maybe not, but if they believe in Will Campbell to play left guard and then maybe play left tackle in a couple years after Walker Little's contract is up or after they can move from Walker Little's contract, maybe that makes sense. Get your best 5 on the field. And I think Will Campbell will upgrade just from a leadership, physicality, athleticism, especially playing guard. I like him a lot more at guard. So that pick wouldn't shock me either. But yeah, I do think the Jaguars are a wild card until we see what happens. I think it's pointing to interior defensive line, but we just don't know. No one knows what's going to happen on Thursday night with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's my opinion. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.